Tiffany's going to close out our show with her unique presentation that I will simply call The Power of We. Here's a few background nuggets on Tiffany. And do remember that all the speaker bios are on the event website, which is why we don't just read them here. In the 1990s, Tiffany raised over $670 million to initially fund a startup in the satellite radio space. And the cool thing is she was only 27 years old at the time. It's got to be the largest first round funding, or one of the largest ever. So I thought that was pretty cool, particularly when she was only 27. And she was actually part of the original group of students who benefited from entrepreneurship at Cornell when it was first started in 1985, when she was a student at Cornell. And I just think that's awesome. So Tiffany, welcome. So glad you're here. You're wearing a Cornell shirt. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing I can still fit it.
Yep. So go ahead and close out our show.
Thank you. Thank you, Zach, for having me here. And it's so exciting to be in this eclectic space of genius and entrepreneurship and innovation and sharing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my time to talk about billionaires and storytelling and cats and unicorns and magic, math and economics. And I promise you it will all make sense by the time we get to the end. And actually, I'm going to start with the cat, specifically Schrodinger's cat. I don't know if you remember that experiment where there's a cat in a box and the question is it alive or dead? And according to Schrodinger, both until you open the box. If you imagine the cat alive, it's alive. If you imagine it's dead, it's dead. We literally hold the power of life and death of that cat just with our thoughts. And here are a few of mine. So when I talk about billionaires and said that I was going to talk about billionaires, I'm actually talking about you. You are a billionaire. Everyone that's on right now on this Zoom, I'm talking to you. Everyone that will watch this on replay, every human being on the planet. And because we come from the school of Kurt Vonnegut, I'll even say those out in space. You are the billionaire that I'm speaking of. And I'm not talking about dollars or pesos or euros or British pounds even. Nothing you can touch or see, yet you can spend it still the same. All you have to do is believe in the power of one small word, we. So I'm going to start by sharing my story. I was born in 1968. And if you know anything about that year, the world was falling apart. Martin Luther King was fighting for racial equality, Nelson Mandela against apartheid, Gloria Steinem for women's rights. The gay rights movement was starting. There was a pandemic and the US was in Vietnam. Everyone around me seemed to be fighting. But instead of fighting, I was dreaming. And I had big dreams, dreams of inventing, dreams of creating, dreams of traveling the world, dreams of starting companies. As far as I was concerned, my phoenix was rising. Many people told me my dreams were fantasy back then. For any race or any gender, there was nothing like it in the 70s, but especially for a young Black girl. I knew, though, that my dreams mattered. And I'm here today to tell you that your dreams matter and that they are all possible with the power of the we. All reality starts in the imagination. Your beliefs have creative power. And here are mine as a kid and as an adult. First, I believe that we are all connected in this world through God. Could I do it alone? No. Could we do it together? Yes. Second, I believe in the creative power of faith. And I spent faith vigilantly by telling everyone and anyone the story of my dreams. I knew that my believers existed somewhere in this world. I just had to find them. Yes, I needed a lot of miracles, and they came in the form of other people showing up at the right moment, in the right way as co-founders, investors, mentors, customers. We made me the success that I am today. I got degrees from Cornell and Harvard. I co-founded 7 startups with the power of the we, including my first startup with friends at Cornell, the first one-strap backpack, satellite radio, a healthcare clinic in Ethiopia that's treated over 10,000 patients, broadband internet automated service activation. You know those self-install kits? It was our company that was the technology behind that. And Tribetan, an ed tech company today. I got a chance to see the world with the we. I've been to 52 countries, including South Africa in the 90s, and had the pleasure of working with then President Nelson Mandela. He says, it all seems impossible until it's done. That little girl in me never gave up on her imagination. Not then, not now, and not tomorrow. And please don't ever give up on yours. Your imagination to me is how God prays to you. I mean, can you imagine, as Zach was talking about in the intro, you know, I'm a 27-year-old girl that looked like a college student back then, with micro braids down the middle of my back, saying, I need nearly $1 billion to help build some satellites. I mean, come on. And then actually raising it and doing it. How is that possible? Well, it starts with the story. You know that philosophical question, I'm sure we've all heard it, where they ask, you know, did the tree make a sound when it fell in the forest if no one was there to hear it? To me, that question is irrelevant, and the answer doesn't really matter that much either. To me, the question is, did the tree make a sound or even exist at all if no one tells the story of it? Or what if they come out of the forest and say, no tree, no fall, no sound, and it's a lie? The story is always the truth. We live in a narrative-based reality, and he or she who can tell a good story literally can raise money and wield power and rule countries. And, you know, for me, when I first met Noah, the founder of WorldSpace, they had been trying to raise that money to build the satellites for over 2 years, and they were 20 years older than me. But what I had that they didn't was the experience already of being an entrepreneur, because I had done my startup with my friends Philip, Oliver, and Anthony at Cornell. And we had raised money, and we had done manufacturing, and we had customers and customer service. All those practices matter. I also recognized how important storytelling was, and that you use storytelling and connection to attract resources. So when Noah and the guys who are regulatory lawyers were going around talking about satellite licenses and system architecture, I came in with my 27-year-old self and with the experience already of startups and persuasive storytelling, and told a story something like this. Imagine if the world could speak to the world. And I'm not talking about governments or big businesses, but you and me. Imagine if Canada could speak to Chile, and the US to Japan, and South Africa to England. It would change everything. We are going to launch 3 satellites that cover every country on Earth. Alcatel will be our general contractor. And when we're done, the world will be able to speak to the world in the form of news and sports and entertainment. And it will never be the same. And it wasn't. Persuasive storytelling in and of itself is a skill that I have been teaching around the world and advocating for. I loved in this session before where they were talking about teaching business skills to people who study in the creative arts. I also want to advocate for teaching creative skills and creator skills to those of us who study in the business sciences and other fields. I'm going to quickly just give you a fast primer on persuasive storytelling because I think it's so important. There are three universal languages of persuasion and influence. They are conviction, objectivity, and grace. So conviction is in words and gestures saying, conveying that it's important to you, that you will not give up, that it matters, because there will always be fire. And if money is your sole reason for doing something, you will abandon ship. Also, people want to know that if they're going to give you money or resources, that you're in it for the long haul. Conviction is the way to do that. Again, tone, words, gestures, and using statements like, I will do this, and we're going to do that, versus, I think, possibly, maybe, I'm feeling like. The response to that, which has been my experience, is, well, when you figure it out, come back and ask us for resources. Objectivity is demonstrating that it's rooted in reality and it has true potential, a true market. So it's prototypes, it's business models, it's betas. It's really important to have objectivity because it cannot just be a passion project. And grace, well, grace, maybe the most important language, is demonstrating and showing and expressing service and value to others. Grace is testimonials. Grace is actual customers. The dialects of grace are benefits versus features. So for example, as a tech entrepreneur, to say, well, the platform, uses a MySQL database, those are features. To say your data will be available to you on any platform and device 24/7, 365 days a year at your fingertips. Well, those are benefits. It's important to have a balance of the three if you want to raise hundreds of millions of dollars or even $5,000 like we first did for Topac at Cornell. When I judge a lot of pitch contests, there tends to be a heavy weighting on objectivity. Another way to look at it is conviction is you and your founders. Objectivity is the product and the company, and grace is the customer and audience. When you have a balance, you typically have a great chance of making a connection. Now, I'm not going to tell you that my story as an entrepreneur has been as simple as persuasive storytelling or telling a good story. Maybe I, as a Black woman, would have to tell the story 5,000 times to get the same results as someone who told it, 100 times, which is okay. I've been called the N word, the B word, the C word. I've been called the whole alphabet. Your dreams will never be free. Suffering is a price to pay. Patience, a virtue, and winning, the best response. Know your power and use it. And always know also that you can't do it alone. From that tiny small place of me as a person or a company or a country, you immediately put yourself in a box. One mind, one pile of resources, one pile of money. But from that powerful place of we, you and your believers, it's not only all possible, it's doable. From starting companies to raising hundreds of millions of dollars to traveling the world and being of service to someone like Nelson Mandela. You are a billionaire with the power of the we. We have hundreds that came to Eclectic Convergence today, tens of thousands, if not more, in the Cornell community. 300 million in the US, 600 million in Latin America, 700 million in Europe, 1 billion in Africa, 4 billion in Asia, over 7 billion in the world. In the currency of faith and connection, you have billions in your bank account. Good news, right? Worthy and wealthy. Now, here is the most important question you will ever ask yourself. How are you going to spend it? How are you going to spend faith? I pray, like me, you will spend it on your dreams. We need your imagination more than ever. One person can turn into a few thousand, hundreds, millions of believers. Miracles happen through other people. Just take the first step by saying with faith to anyone that will listen, I have a dream. You know, as I close out, I wanted to share, actually wrote and published my first book. It's called Vote Like a Boss, an entrepreneur's perspective on innovation, leadership, creativity, storytelling, and voting. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about the elections or politics. It's more a book about leadership, and voting is also a leadership skill. So I'm going to end by reading and performing a poem from the book. Actually, everything that I've spoken about today so far has been from the book. Oh, let's do this. And the chapter I'm going to read, or the section I'm going to read, is called That Unicorn. I want to close with a poem celebrating a fearless female leader that embodies everything I shared today. She is better than any unicorn. I promised we would talk about cats, billionaire storytelling, and unicorns. I didn't forget. Who came up with the term a unicorn to signify an entrepreneur who has hit it big? I can't imagine it was an actual entrepreneur who first used it. Founders are self-made. We don't just appear in forests with a horn sticking out of our heads, born of unicorn parents. There is, however, something otherworldly about us founder types. And it is this: we spend sometimes all of our savings and nearly possibly lose our homes while working 16 hours a day to be of service to our team, customers, and investors. If we endure, we eventually find mastery, first of ourselves, and then of the enterprise and the market. And maybe 5 or more years later, we are cash flow positive. How is that similar to a unicorn? It is more like the origin story of Hermione, yes, from Harry Potter. My closing will be a poem called Hermione Rising. Hermione is a role model for all of us, the so-called muggle who from sheer will and creative power recognizes, practices, and masters her magic within, and then goes on to be of exceptional service to others. Someday, I'm sure there will be a Herman Granger. Hermione is all of us. So I close with a performance of Hermione Rising. I imagine a better way, something disruptive and innovative, used and revered, demanded and paid for, something transformative. Imagination, why do we deny it and discount it? It's the source of all innovation. Einstein was theoretical, not applied. Da Vinci, an artist and a scientist. George Washington Carver, no vision, no hope. And Harriet? Well, Harriet had to imagine freedom. before she took the first step. I have a dream of traveling in space, of curing cancer, of running for office, of peace, unity, equality, and equity. You get what I'm saying? It's not about the how, it's about the why, the sense of purpose. No need to teach imagination, just endorse it. And with grace, give space for it. It's not to be packed away. It should be on display in schools and offices and Zoom conferences, a priority among the others. Serious vote for tinkering and sketching and making and for play. Forcing memorization of someone else's prior imagination is not the way. The recipe gives space to expand and extend a concept through empathy and understanding, through diversity and collaboration, and embrace for imagination in the case of them all. The more minds that imagine together, the more innovation blossoms. The more diverse these minds, the taller it grows. And if it's fueled by love and understanding, it thrives and soars. We are 7 billion strong, brothers and sisters. We can do anything unless we fight each other. Go human or go home. Daydreamers, you are our future game changers. Your place is at the top of the class. Take out your wand and cast the spell of I want that. It's okay if it's messy. Reality is always messy. Screw up and then rise up. Wield the magic of hope and faith. And know that the world may attack your genius now, but love you for it later. Hermione is rising, and her power is limitless. And by God's grace, so is yours. I pray that this moment in time, more than any other, you'll use it for the greater good. And know that God believes in you. Please believe in yourself. Thank you.
All right. Woohoo! A great way to end our show, actually. It was a great wrap up. I just have a couple of quick questions. Is that okay?
Yes, yes. Before you do, I just want to give a quick shout out to Steve Shapiro. I think he's in the audience right now because he connected us. So I wanted to express gratitude for him connecting us. And I also wanted to say that if people email me at hello@tribetan.com, I'll drop it in the chat later. You can get an auto reply of all my speaker notes. So just so that they know that in case if we run out of time.
Great, great. Actually, one of the questions simply says, "You rock, Tiffany." Would you tell us, it says, would you talk a little bit about Tribetan and what it is?
Tribetan, yes, yes. So, predominantly I've been a tech entrepreneur, a frontier tech entrepreneur, an inventor entrepreneur. And over time, and I was electrical engineering and economics at Cornell. So very much hard science and math and numbers. And the scientific method I've always loved. So I started with a thesis because I was always creating things as a kid. I even did little startups and projects as a kid and just constantly tried to create, hack the framework of bringing imagination into reality. So the creativity skill set, the creator skill set, but literally, so, photography is a form, painting is a form, but, taking your imagination and bringing it to reality, like creating reality is also the ultimate creator skill set. And so Tribetan is that. It's what I consider primary skills for creating reality. So for innovating, for disrupting, for launching a project, for transforming your life, that I would like everyone to learn and be taught the way reading, writing, and math is taught to everyone. Because if you think about it, every new idea, every problem to be solved always starts first in someone's imagination. And if only a few people take their imagination seriously, and fewer still know how to bring it into market, not even necessarily scale, right? But first bring it into market where another human being can get it, right? And say, oh, I believe in that, I'll help you out, I'll give you more money, I'll take it to the next level, then we really do ourselves a disservice. And I think creativity is the skill set of the future.
Cool. Okay, so I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so think back to 1985 or whenever it was. What happened to your TOPAC co-founders and those fellow Cornellians? I'm just wondering if you still stay in touch with them.
I do. First off, I still have one of the original TOPACs, so I have to show that. We gave a lifetime guarantee and so this is like 35 plus years old. And ironically, I'll bump into people who have bought TOPACs when I speak. But, funny you should ask that question, Zach, because I do keep in touch with them. I'm still friends with Phil. So I would like to invite to the stage, class of 1990, co-founder of TOPAC, and international recording artist, Phil Strong.
Here we go.
Thank you, Tiffany. I'm going to share my brand new song, Bridges, for the very, very first time, to reinforce the power of we and the human science of success. And I'm sure that even Hermione, she too would like this. I've been building bridges to reach that place called peace. Time to cross on over. Won't you come along with me? No one said it would be easy. So much to be under. Man, but when the healing has begun, I've so much to share with you. My story wrote itself. I am simply telling what in life I have been there. I am here to listen. I am here to learn. Though it may be hard to let the flags of hatred burn. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity to build a bridge between you and me. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity. Let's build a bridge, connect you and me. I've been climbing mountains. Seems like all my days. For it I am stronger. Loving like they lead my way. It's time for conversation, dialogue to start. With open minds, let's heal the hurting hearts. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity to build a bridge between you and me. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity. Let's build a bridge, connect you and me. We still have so much work to do. Open up our hearts and minds and we're to make it on through. Much to learn, so much to share. Communicate, respect, and care. We are in the most chaotic of times. Let's use this moment for reflection, for reaching out, for reorganization, for together We are better. We're stronger. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity to build a bridge between you and me. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity. Let's build a bridge, connect you and me. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity to build a bridge between you and me. Let's recognize the circumstance. Let's celebrate the difference. Let us take this opportunity. Let's build a bridge, connect you and me. Let us take this opportunity. Let's build a bridge, connect you and me. Let us take this opportunity. Let's build a bridge, connect you and me.
Thank you so much, Phil.
All right,
And
Phil.
so I just
Where'd
want
he go? Disappeared.
yeah.
Phil's great. It's great
So
to meet
thank you for yeah, thank you for having us again, Zach. I took the title of the conference, Eclectic Convergence, literal. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
And this was the soft launch also for Phil and I. We're going on a Power of We tour. So we also, as Cornellians, were excited to first launch it here.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.